Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Umineko. We just finished up with Chapter 2, well, sort of. If you consider the tea party part of Chapter 2, we're almost done then. And we have Episode 2 Tea Party to get started, so let's continue. It's a bit spookier outside than it was before. Oh, and before we start, it looks like we got updated information on all of the remaining dead people. Kinzo, he got torn to pieces. Let's see, where's Battler? It's kind of hard to see. Oh wait, that's where Battler's supposed to be. He's not here. Okay, that's interesting. Neither is Beatrice, so that's not unusual. In the Golden Land, she saw that her mother still truly loved her. At least for now, she's satisfied. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is gonna be a bit worrisome. Anyway, let's continue. Rosa awoke from her doze. It must have been a very deep sleep. Her mind was hazy and she wasn't thinking clearly. Where is this? It felt like some mansion, but at least it didn't seem to be the Urashiramiya family mansion. She could see a room that looked like a parlor. And there was some tea that had been prepared. It had probably been prepared for her. Why's it gotta be prepared for you, Rosa, huh? Around the room, some glitter that looked like gold leaf drifted about, making the scene look very fantastical. When she eventually realized that they were gold butterflies, it further strengthened this impression. There was someone across from her. Female. A woman. The portrait's witch. Ah, here we go. The golden witch who has lived for 1,000 years. I think that says the exact same thing. She seemed to be having a one-sided conversation. She was probably talking to Rosa. But Rosa, whose mind was clouded up by a deep fog, didn't have a clue what was being said. What is she talking about? I don't know. I don't know.
せっかくわらわは魔女なのだから魔女にしか叶えられない願いを求めるのが利口ではないかと思うぞ。せっかくの機会ではないか。この黄金のベアトリーチェから恩恵を得られるなど。
Finally, Rosa started to feel the blood flowing through her body. Her movements were still sluggish, and she couldn't even voice the words she was thinking. As the witch blew on her pipe, 7 colors of smoke wrapped around the surroundings. Ooh, that's a lot of gold. When she did, the inside of the parlor had suddenly become filled with stacks of gold ingots. It looked like a shining, gold-colored wall. If each ingot was worth several million yen, how much would all of this be worth? It seemed sinful to even think of that number.
しかし、人の世は難しい。どれほど空高く積み上げた黄金であろうとも、満たされぬものがあることを知っている。埋められぬ隙間があることを知っている。わらわはそれをないがしろにしないし、それこそが魔女であるわらわにしか与えられぬ褒美であると考えている。そなたのそれを。なるほど、これはいい。わらわはそれをないがしろにしないし、それこそがわらわにしか与えられぬものだ。そなたもさぞや喜ぼう。口にせずともよい。そなたの心の隙間など顔に書いてあるからすぐにわかるぞ。
Rosa felt a touch of discomfort at the switch, who kept on talking even though Rosa hadn't uttered a single word. But since she still couldn't speak well, and was so helpless that it was difficult for her to even move a finger, she couldn't do anything but listen.
そなたの深き心の傷はどこまで遡れば癒せるのか。これは深い深い。時に破片を飲み込んだまま傷口が閉じてしまうこともある。そういう傷は見た目には癒えていても永遠にうずきを感じ続けるものだ。完全に治すために今一度傷口を開くこともあろう。
As the witch spoke, she stared deep into Rosa's eyes. What in the world was she peering at? Rosa felt uncomfortable, but she couldn't look away.
そなたの痛みはすでに生まれながらにして運命づけられたものか。これはなんともつらいものよ。言わずともよい。わかるわかる。
Then Rosa was once again sucked into the witch's eyes. Then the world grew dark, spinning round and round as she was sucked in.
Rosa, Rosa, どうしてお前はそんなにバカなのか。
That's not a nice thing to say after you've been dead this whole time, Cross. Oh, that's Cross Nissan's voice. Cross Nissan is a real adult, so he's very smart. So he hated the stupid kid Rosa. He was a very scary person. I was often hit and my toys were taken from me and broken. It had seemed like I was being punished for something bad I'd done, but I hadn't really understood what it was, or why I was being punished. I was always punished suddenly and then later told what the punishment was for, in a forced manner. But it was always something I didn't remember doing. So I really hated Cross Nissan.
Rosa.
Oh boy, we get to go through all the
Rosa.
siblings.
どうしてお前はそんなにバカなのか。
Oh, that's Evan Nissan's voice. Evan Nissan is a real adult, so she's very smart. So she hated the stupid kid Rosa. She was always a very sly person, and she often lied to me, tricked me, bullied me, she still does. It had seemed like I was stupid, and she'd said it was only natural for stupid people to be swindled by those better than them. So I wanted to become a wise person like Evan Nissan, and listen to what she said. But when I obeyed her for some reason, someone always got really mad at me. So I really hated Evan Nissan. Well, to be fair, she never really got any better. At least Cross kinda seemed to mellow out a tiny bit, even if he didn't really.
Rosa.
She was just a jerk the whole time.
Rosa. どうしてお前はそんなにバカなのか。
Oh, that's Rudolph Nissan's voice. Rudolph Nissan really knows how to get things done. So he hated the stupid kid Rosa. When Krasny-san was around, he was friendly with Krasny-san. When Evany-san was around, he was friendly with Evany-san. And when Krasny-san wasn't around, he was violent like Krasny-san. And when Evany-san wasn't around, he played dirty like Evany-san. And even though he was also bullied most of the time, when Krasny-san and Evany-san weren't around, he gave me 2 people's worth of bullying. So I really hated Rudolph Nissan. Oh, but this is my memory from when I was a kid. A large amount of unreasonable things happened when I was a kid. And that couldn't be dragged out forever. With time, those memories were buried away, and forgetting those bit by bit was supposed to be part of growing up and becoming an adult. So becoming an adult is the same thing as separating yourself from all of those memories. Therefore, no matter how much time passed, Rosa couldn't become an adult. Even though she had been blessed with a daughter called Maria and was called a mother, she didn't at all feel like she'd become an adult. The witch pitied that, and she smiled, saying that she could heal that pain herself.
どうやって癒すのか。可能ではあるが簡単ではない。時間を巻き戻し、そなたに兄と姉がいなかった世界を与えることもできよう。しかしそれでは、そなたは兄と姉に苦しめられた記憶が残らず、故にそれをもって褒美であると言われても納得はできまい。上は癒してこそ満たされる。上そのものをなかったことにしても誰も感謝しない。日々の飽食に感謝する若者がいないようにね。わかるか？
I think she's telling you something really it's not that complicated. She's just explaining that if you never knew you had a need in the first place, you don't thank anybody for fulfilling that need. In short, even if she makes it so that I never had older siblings, the pain wouldn't be removed. Maybe that's what she's saying. Strictly speaking, it's different. Healing isn't the same thing as removing pain. It's the pleasure earned from withstanding pain. Therefore, removing the pain isn't healing. To know the joy of healing, you have to know the pain.
となれば、そなたの痛みに報いる喜びがいる。そなたは苦難の過去を誇っている。苦難を知らぬ者には味わいの快楽を知る資格があるからだ。この快楽を知る者は同じ喜びを他者にも与えずにはいられなくなる。
When the witch snapped her fingers, even though the room was still filled with a mountain of gold and had already lost all semblance of reality, a fabulous tablecloth appeared on top of the table, and wonderful cooking was laid out, almost as though it was the opening of a banquet in a castle from some fairy tale. For an instant, Rosa felt a pleasurable surprise at how fabulous it was. But at the same time, she felt a bit of an anticlimax. Because she thought that being bullied by her siblings wouldn't be wiped away by just one meal, no matter how delicious.
食は人の快楽の多くを占める。生涯生き続ける限り、豚のように食い続けなくてはならぬ。一食で足りなければいくらでも。その心の痛みが癒えるまで美食の宴を続けようではないか。始めろ、家具ども。
As the witch clapped twice, there were suddenly 2 goat-head servants there, and they began to prepare the meal. From the beautiful food dishes adorning the table, they efficiently took some food and began to pile it up on Rosa's plate. It really did look delicious, but Rosa's body still felt as heavy as lead. And there was no way she could eat. Maybe they also understood that. The goat-head servants tied a napkin around Rosa's collar, and gallantly brought a glass of before-dinner alcohol to her mouth, tilting it for her. She remembered an old servant who had once carried rice porridge to her mouth when she was laid up with a high fever. She couldn't drink it well, and it dripped down from her mouth, but she felt the fragrant sweetness spread throughout her mouth.
ドイツ産の寄付ワインにあやかった甘きアペリティフよ。白ワインを赤きゴールデンドロップで染めたワインカクテルだ。名付けるならばブラッディ・クラウスか。そなたの兄を圧搾機にかけて絞り出した血のゴールデンドロップだけで染めてある。
That's a little bit sinister. Why would you go to all that trouble? Rosa coughed violently, and the bright red that stained her face made it look as though she had coughed up blood. Well, I mean, she had somewhat, hadn't she? You said there was blood in it, so wouldn't she in fact be coughing up blood?
ゴールデンドロップとは最後の一滴のことだ。紅茶で最も貴重な一滴と言われている。そして血のゴールデンドロップも同じ。人間から絞り出せる血液の貴重なる最後の一滴。あれにて絞る。
As the witch snapped her fingers, a bright red veil that had been set up before something large was removed. The solemn and massive machine there was just like a coffin for a large-sized person, with many large bulb-like things stuck to it, and it looked like a sinister torture device. By its unnerving shape, she could tell that with a human strength, it could tighten and compress something. I wonder what. And it seemed that there were still some squeezed drugs remaining, because of the bright red remains that stained it.
しかしゴールデンドロップは一度に一滴しか取れぬ。どんな人間からも一滴以上は取れぬというわけだ。しかしわらわは魔女。人を蘇らせることもまたたやすい。
When the witch snapped her fingers, suddenly, the human compressor began to shake. No, she could also hear a groan. It looked almost as though someone had been sleeping in that man-sized coffin, had woken up and was now struggling to get out. But that was wrong. What was inside definitely had been squeezed dregs. Using her magic, the witch had once again revived the squeezed dregs to how they had been before they were squeezed. 3 goat-head servants with muscular physiques approached the compressor and forcefully started tightening the large bulb. As they did, an unearthly moan came from inside of the coffin. Rosa thought that she knew the owner of that voice. I'm glad you're figuring it out, Rosa. So I've yet to figure out exactly why we're doing this. I mean, I know the witch likes making people suffer. It's kind of a fun thing for her.
もう十分だ。下がれ。ゴールデンドロップがどれほど貴重なものかお分かりいただけたかな。それを集め、それほどに赤く染めるには何十人分も絞らなければならない。
The witch had definitely said that only one golden drop could be taken from a single human. And yet, she had dozens of people's worth of golden drops from a single human. Only a witch could do this. The Golden Witch Beatrice could kill a single human endlessly. In other words, before Beatrice, even death did not mean release.
口中に滲んだ血を飲み込んだ日を忘れたか。そうそう、あの味を思い出せ。こぼし尽くして枯れ果てた涙の味を思い出せ。その悔しき思い出を癒して足りるアペリティフであると信じている。
Once again, the goat-head servants tilted a deep red glass against her mouth. Rosa tried resisting by closing her lips, but the deep red liquid was relentlessly poured into her mouth, which was hanging open with shock. And the inside of her mouth was filled with a ghastly sweetness. It was definitely a fragrant sweetness. The living blood of her brother, who had given her such hateful thoughts and made her soak her pillows so many times, had been collected from his death, repeated dozens of times. It wasn't as though the crimson-stained wine wasn't sweet, but Rosa tried to spit it out. Because of that, the deep red wine that spilled out of Rosa's mouth looked just like a bloodstain. Now that she knew that this ghastly substance wasn't a simple aperitif, Rosa couldn't help but feel uncomfortable about what would happen if this banquet continued.
それは旬の野菜による二枚舌のサラダ風だ。お前がいつか食いちぎってやりたいと9歳の誕生日の日に願う。エヴァの舌で作った念願のサラダよ。
Okay, bro, is that necessary? The tongue thing's kind of weird. When Rosa heard the true nature of the pink-colored meat piled up in the salad, she had a sudden impulse to vomit her guts out. Furthermore, the goat servant stuck a fork in it and carried it to Rosa's mouth.
姉の二枚舌のお味はどうか。
Oh, I get what they mean. Okay.
さぞや柔らかくとろけるであろう。
Maybe it was quite sweet, soft and enchanting in her mouth. After all, Eva's lies were always sweet, and young Rosa had always listened to them. So you could say that the taste of the stimulating pepper seasoning that was added expressed the details of those lies well. As the tongue salad that kept being pushed into Rosa's mouth was covered with saliva, she spat it out. But the goat-head servants carefully returned it to the plate and carried it to Rosa's mouth over and over again.
言うに及ばず、そのサラダにはエヴァの舌を5枚も惜しげなく使っている。舌は1人から1枚しか奪えない。
Yeah, I got it, Beatrice. You're a jerk.
しかしわらわなら何度でも奪える。
As Rosa's tears dripped down, she resisted, half crazed. However, the only way she could resist was by refusing to swallow. Even if she didn't swallow it, the taste of the French dressing increasingly violated Rosa's mouth.
お気に召さぬか？まだまだ料理は続くぞ。ルドルフの顔の皮で包んだ続きのパイ。脳みそを茹でたスープに肝臓のフォアグラ。デザートにも期待せよ。兄弟だけではないぞ。お前が信頼し、にもかかわらず裏切った人間たちをふんだんに調理した。この宴はそなたの心が満足するまで永遠に続けようではないか。永遠。嬉しいだろう、後ろ宮ローザ。嫌がるふりなんかするなよ。本当は嬉しいってのは分かってるんだぜ。
And that's an interesting thought, because she really does hate her siblings.
笑いたくば笑えばいい。ムカつく兄貴や姉貴の悲鳴の生演奏がないとご機嫌になれないってんならいくらでも聞かせてやる。いいんだよ、いやいやで。それがお前の性分なんだろ。本当は全身が泡立つほどに嬉しいんだよ。なのに表向きは苦しんでるふりをしてるだけなんだよな。いいんだぜ。ここにはお前が気にする世間体も体面も何にもない。存分の大笑いして食い散らかせよ。最高の宴だろ。後ろ見やろうぜ。
Well, Maybe I'll wait a little bit longer in eating after this.
すまぬすまぬ。デザートを驚かそうと思って内緒にしていたが、やはり明かしておこう。明かせばフルコースを食べ遂げようという励みにもなるだろう。デザートはお前が愛しているふりをし続けなければならないマナ娘マリアとリンゴのオーブン焼きだよ。
Oh, my favorite.
うまそうだろ。こいつを食べればお前は全てから解放される。自由だよ、自由。やっとローザという一人の人間として自由を得るんだよ。嬉しいだろ。嬉しいはずさ。よだれが垂れてるぜ。鏡を見てみろよ。
Suddenly, a muscular goat cook was holding Maria under his arm, and Maria gazed at Rosa with a face that was only slightly sad.
ママ、マリアのこと邪魔だった？邪魔じゃない。
As Rosa spat out the food that was continually being carried to her mouth. As she was covered with filth and saliva and blood, she resisted filthily and screamed.
ママがマリアのこと邪魔なら、マリア食べられても平気。だってマリアはいつもママにひどいことばかり。ママが男の人を連れてくる時も静かにできなかった。ママが男の人とお泊まりしてくる時、寂しくて暴れて
Rosa,
お部屋を
please.
台無しにした。勝手に探しに行って迷子になって警察のお世話になってママに恥をかかせた。何日も帰ってこなくて泣いちゃって、近所の人に慰めてもらってママに恥をかかせた。こんなマリアだからママの迷惑になってる。生まれてきてごめんなさい。だからマリアはママのために美味しいリンゴのオーブン焼きになる。
Rosa, please.
そしたらママに初めてマリアがいてよかったって思ってもらえるかな。マリアを食べて美味しかったって思ってもらえるかな。
美味しいよね。感類にむせべよ。娘がここまで行ってるぜ。マナ娘とリンゴのオーブン焼きなんて最高のデザート。これだけ美味しい食材に育てられ、あんた最高の母親だぜ。後ろ宮ローゼ。
ママ、今までありがとう。バイバイ。
待ってマリア、違うの。もうやめて、こんなの嫌。私はこんなこと望んでない。もうやめて、もう許して。我がもてなしに満足してもらえたか。ならばそなわらわが魔女であることを宣言せよ。後宮ローザはベアトリーチェを魔女と認めると宣言せよ。認めます。魔女だと認めます。だからマリアを返して、私を解放して。ついに認めさせたぞ。小賢しきバトラはすでに屈服し、黄金鏡に招かれながらわらわを否定する愚か者ローザにも認めさせた。完璧だ。It's perfect。 成し遂げたぞ。完璧な勝利を。さあマリアを連れて行け。ローザに美味なオーブン焼きを振る舞ってやれ。
うまそうだな。俺にはてめえの牛乳をスライスしてサンドイッチを作ってくれ。
その声は。
Battler, where were you hiding? An arm grabbed the back of the witch's head and smashed her face into the table. As it did, the witch broke into pieces, turned into a group of gold butterflies, and reformed into her body a short distance away. I wasn't expecting Battler either, truthfully. Give me just a moment, we'll be right back. Oh man, Battler's back.
家具となって魂まで屈服していたはず。
そのつもりだったんだがな。てめえの趣味の悪いレシピに耳を貸してるうちに腹が減ってきちまってよ。魔女の丸焼きが食いたくなってきちまったのさ。それからマリア、自分を食べてなんてセリフは10年早いぜ。ただし10年経ったら必ず俺に言えよ。約束だぞ。
約束する。
待たせたな、ローザおばさん。俺は忘れてたぜ。こいつは俺とこの女の一騎打ちだったんだ。
So is this first game Battler or second game Battler? It sounds like first game Battler, but I'm not sure.
俺が屈するわけには断じていかなかったんだ。ローザおばさんが粘ってくれたおかげで再び戦う気力を取り戻せたぜ。
Or does it matter at this point, honestly? This person, he gave up in the depths of his soul and supposedly surrendered to me. I see, he doesn't know when to give up. Just what I'd expect from Ushir Miyakinzo's grandchild. So the chick of a phoenix is a phoenix after all. Okay.
威勢が良い。気に入った。そうでなくてはな。わらわの期待する後宮バトラとはそうでなくてはならん。わらわを否定してみろ。そしてそれをわらわは完膚なきまでに叩き潰す。何度でも屈服させてやろうぞ。何度でも屈服させてやろうぞ。一度靴を舐めたそなたに何度でも敗北の味を教え込んでやる。
上等だぜこの後宮バトラ。泥を吸ってでも立ち上がる男だってことを教えてやる。俺は喧嘩で無敵だった試しはね、何度か負けてる。だがな、必ず泥を吸って立ち上がる。そして必ず蹴りをつける。男の喧嘩はな、負けを認めない限りどれだけ叩きのめされようと負けじゃねえんだよ。一本取られただけで俺が参ると思うなよ。楽しませてやるぜベアトリーチャー。
受けて立とうぞ後宮バトラ。カグども、次なるゲームの準備を始めよ。その間に貴様にはたっぷりと聞かせてもらおうではないか。こたびのゲームでは密室も多いぞ。そなたの逃げ工場のほとんどをわらわが赤で叩き潰した。その上でさらにどのようなへりくつで言い逃れてみせるのか。礼拝堂の鍵、ジェシカの部屋の鍵、使用人室の鍵、夏日の部屋の鍵、客場の鍵。お前らのお得意な奇想天外、妄想暴言空想はったり、とんでも超展開斜め上でわらわをとことん否定してみせろよ。
ああ、ダメだぜ。
That's exciting. I'm glad Battler didn't give up yet, because that seemed like there wasn't going to be much place left to go if Battler did. So, it looks like we're going to have another game again. I wonder when we're ever going to start making progress towards actually getting the epitaph done. Because this time, we put a tiny bit more thought into it, but, like, barely. It was nice. I kept most of it out because it was pretty long, but it was nice. So, it looks like we have another one of those Witch's Tea Party left. And we'll tackle that next time. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to elaborate on that. There was a good portion of that was probably really deep, and it kind of flew over my head. So feel free to elaborate on that if you happen to know anything. I got the general gist of the whole thing. It was just that Rosa hated her siblings, so shouldn't she be happy that her siblings are finally dead? And maybe that wasn't quite what Rosa wanted, but she did a terrible job of showing that, I guess. And then, of course, we're going to be starting a new game soon. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time for some more Umineko. Bye!